For today's video, I felt compelled to wear my Strava t-shirt which reads, "If it's not on Strava, it never happened." Strava is an exercise app I have been using for years to log all of my bike rides, both on-road and off-road. However, in 2018, Strava was involved in a controversy that had the United States military very upset. I am Dr. John Padfield. I'm a business professor, and this is Business Reform, where I discuss issues at the intersection of business, technology, and society. Strava is a subscription-based platform used by more than 100 million amateur and professional athletes around the world to keep track of their exercise workouts, such as cycling, jogging, and swimming. I use Strava with my Wahoo bike computer to log all of my cycling activity. I can then share my workouts with friends who are cyclists. Strava also allows me to compare my speed on the same trails over time to see if I'm getting faster or slower. Strava also gives me the ability to upload photos from my bike rides to create something like a digital scrapbook of my scenic rides, such as this one along the shore of Lake Michigan. Every second of my bike ride, my bike computer records my GPS location, heart rate, speed, and several other pieces of information. During the first class period each semester, I share this data with my MBA data analytics students and ask them, if I gave you a full year of my cycling data rather than just a few seconds worth, what could you learn about me? There is actually quite a bit you could learn about me from looking at a year's worth of my cycling data. The first thing that comes to mind is you could very quickly determine my home address because that is where the vast majority of my bicycle rides begin and end. You could also determine where I work because you would notice me riding my bike from home to the campus where I teach, spending a number of hours, and then riding my bike home. You might also figure out a couple of restaurants I like because I sometimes ride my bike to lunch. Studying the data from my bike computer, you could even make some pretty good informed guesses about my weekly schedule based on what days of the week and what times of day I most frequently ride my bike. You could even learn some things about my health by seeing if I'm generally getting faster or slower over time. You could learn about my cardio health by noticing how quickly my heart rate slows down after I complete a ride. With a full year worth of data, you could even create a heat map to see where I ride my bike most often. I then ask my students, what could you learn if you had access to a year's worth of data from all 100 plus million Strava users around the world? Some say they could figure out the most popular bike trails or running trails. Others say they might figure out where would be a good location to put a bike shop or maybe a restaurant that caters to athletes. Finally, I ask my class if having access to a year's worth of Strava data from all of their users would have any national security implications, and I usually get puzzled looks from everyone. While most of my students intuitively understand how they could figure out where I live or work, most of my students don't recognize how the data stored by Strava could pose any national security risk. To be fair to my students, neither did Strava. In 2018, Strava published a global heat map with 13 trillion data points, about 3.6 billion hours of running, cycling, and swimming workouts from users around the world. Keep in mind, this data was anonymous. Strava did not attach any user's name to any of the data, but the data was interactive. You could zoom in on different regions and see where people were running. So what's the problem? According to an article in The Guardian and several other news sites, shortly after Strava posted the global heat map in 2018 of where their users were running and cycling, people started wondering who was running laps out in the desert about 20 miles outside of Baghdad. The location of several secret military bases was accidentally revealed to the world when Strava shared anonymous data about their users online. When I discuss privacy issues, I frequently hear people argue, but I have nothing to hide. Privacy isn't just about hiding illegal or illicit behavior. My point in creating this video is that even seemingly harmless data, collected by something as innocent and beneficial as a very high-quality exercise app that I personally use, has the potential to cause serious problems. This is a theme I'm going to be returning to over and over in upcoming videos as I discuss just how much data people leak on a daily basis without realizing it. In future videos, I'm going to go into more detail about apps that are siphoning off your information, about what credit card companies are doing selling your information, about what car makers are doing collecting and selling your information, usually without your knowledge or permission. A recurring theme on this channel is choose wisely. In this video, I especially want to encourage you to choose to consciously think about how much data you give away on a daily basis through apps on your phone, your vehicle's GPS system, and where you use your credit cards. I also want you to remember that once you allow your data to be collected, you have absolutely zero control about how that data will be stored, shared, sold, aggregated, and potentially used for purposes that are not in your best interest. I will elaborate on that topic in an upcoming video. And finally, if you have not already done so, please like and subscribe to stay informed on this type of content. What other examples are you aware of where data collected for one purpose was used for another purpose or may have had unintended consequences that people did not anticipate when they allowed that information to be collected? I would love to hear about your examples in the comments below. Thank you for watching.